I think I can make this smaller too. Okay. So first off, thanks guys for making your time to be here tonight. If you don't know yet who I am, my name is Stephanie. I'm a Star Diamond leader on our team, the Back to Back Tribe. And tonight I am talking about how to get out of your own way, how to overcome any obstacle in your life. And I'm going to just dive straight in because I've got a lot of content that I want to cover with you. And I encourage you, please, there are going to be four questions that I'm going to ask you as we go that I want you to write down answers to. So you're going to be creating essentially like 4 lists to be able to go back to after this call to really review this so you can figure out where you're stopping yourself, where you're sabotaging yourself so you can fix that and you can live your best life. Okay, so I encourage you, get a notepad and pen out, be ready to take some notes, and let's just jump right in. How do I go to the next slide on a Mac? Boom, there we go. Okay, so why this topic? Why did I pick this? Sabotaging and getting out of your own way has been a huge recurring trend for me personally. I have spent countless phone calls, text messages, chat conversations with Brandy trying to figure out like why I keep doing this. Like it's been a repetitive pattern for me in my business and in my personal life where I keep making the same mistakes and I can't figure out how to get past them. So I skipped a slide. Let me go back here. So that's really why I was able to label that in my own life as self-sabotage. Like I keep stopping myself from being as successful as I want, from working as hard as I want to, from doing the things that I say that I'm going to do. And so I keep stopping myself before I get to the finish line. And so when I was able to label that as self-sabotage, just like we teach all of our team to focus on personal development, I did some research, found some personal development books on exactly that, on self-sabotage. And this title of this call is a book that I'm reading, and I'll share a link for it after the call. But it's an amazing book, and I'm only going to share with you like the first chapter of this book. So if this is something, if I'm ringing any bells with you tonight, if you can really relate to any of this content, I encourage you to get this book. It's by the name of this call, which I've already forgotten, How to Get Out of Your Own Way by Larry Winget, and it's amazing. So that's why I'm talking about this topic, and I want to say that because it's something that I'm struggling with. I have not overcome it. I'm still dealing with it myself. So any of the hard truths that I share with you tonight, hard questions that I'm asking you to ask yourself, I've been asking them to myself too. I've made these lists already that I'm going to ask you to make, and I am working through them to correct them in my own life and in my own business, so I can live my best life. So I want you to know that I'm doing this with you. I'm not saying this like from a podium that, I have overcome this. I'm telling you that I'm 2 steps ahead of you. And I just, the same way that we don't wait to share our journey on our social media page, we don't wait for that before and after before we can talk to people about what we're doing and the journey we're on. I wanted to show you guys this and be vulnerable with you guys tonight, that this is what I'm struggling with in my business and in my life. And so I know that I can't be the only one. And so I want to grow with you guys in this. So do you do things do you say things that you want, but then don't deliver? Do you say that you want to live in your dream home, to have your husband home, or work less hours? Or do you want to have more money? Do you want to have a bigger business? Do you want to be a diamond coach? Do you want to be an elite coach, right? But you're not delivering on those things in your own life, right? That's what I found out for me. I realized through personal development that for me, it's been an integrity issue. I say that I'm going to do things. I'm shaking. I'm like literally shaking my computer. Sorry guys. I'll take my feet off. But I've realized that it's an integrity issue, and I will say all day long, hey, I'm working really hard. I'm going to hit this goal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then I don't do it. Like I will literally, you guys know Brandy is my best friend. She's my success partner, and she is on my butt for my goals all the time, just the way I am. We challenge each other and push each other. And so often I'll tell her, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And then I don't do it. And then she calls me out on it. And I don't have a reason why. So this whole process that we're going to walk through tonight is going to show you how and why if you're experiencing any of that as well. So there's 5 steps to overcoming the obstacle that's in your way right now. It's a really simple process here. This isn't going to be anything mind-blowing. I'm not going to give you some secret that you've never heard of before. This is really simple stuff, like most personal development, right? It's just application of simple things. So first you have to realize that where you're at in your life right now, in your health, in your finances, in your career, in your relationships, with your children, with your spouse, Where you are in your life right now is your own fault. So the first thing that you have to do is take responsibility for that. You have to own that. You've got to stop blaming your boss or your husband or your kids or your life situation or the fact that you're a busy mom with a toddler who doesn't have time in her day to dedicate to this business, or to the professional that's working 60 hours a week that doesn't have time. You've got to take responsibility for your life and realize that where you're at right now is where you want to be, because it's where you've chosen to settle and stay. So you've got to take responsibility first. Next, you need to learn what to do to fix your situation, and that's what we're going to go over tonight. And then you've got to take action on what you've learned, right? The saying like knowledge is power is a load of crap, because it's not. Knowledge is power only if you use it and if you apply the knowledge that you've obtained. I know Brandy and I, when we first started as coaches, we devoured training. I mean, and still to this day, we both do a lot. I know she does even more so than I do, but we hoarded training. Every time we would scour YouTube, find everything that we could possibly find out about this business for steps that we weren't even in yet. We were learning about what it meant to be an elite coach before we were diamond coaches. And we were studying this and absorbed all of this stuff, but then the one thing that we kept coming back to and getting onto each other about was application. We weren't applying what we were learning. We were spending so much time learning, we weren't applying. So we're going to go over that in a little bit. So you've got to take action on what you've learned, and then you've got to enjoy the results that you've created, right? You want to be able to celebrate when you actually hit a goal, right? You want to pause for a moment and be able to celebrate in that moment before you set a new goal, right? We get especially the more personal development that I do, the more goal-oriented I become. And the more I set a goal, and the moment I hit it, so often I'm just okay, what's the next one? Check, okay, I can take that off my dream board, and now what's next, right? I can work on the next one. But taking a moment to celebrate our success is huge, because that's what's going to help us. It's going to motivate us to get there. So that being said, let me keep an eye on the clock for you. Okay. So first thing that you need to do is figure out what is important to you. You've got to make an audit of where you spend your time and your money. And where you spend your time and your money and your energy, that's really what is important to you. One of the craziest statistics that I got to hear in this book that I'm reading was that parents, we say that we want to be good parents, right? If you're a parent, you want to have good, well-rounded children that are. I say all the time, I want my daughter to be confident, to be bold, to be strong, to be smart. I want her to be kind. But the statistic blew me out of the water that the average parent spends 3.5 minutes a week in meaningful conversation with their kids. How can you say you want to have good, how can you say that you want to be a good parent, that you want to have good kids, if that's all that you're putting into that process, right? And then 65% of the average American spends more time on their computer than with their spouse, which is the person that you've chosen to live with for the rest of your life, that you've dedicated yourself, you've promised yourself to take care of, to love, honor, and cherish for the rest of your life. You spend more of your time on your computer than you do with that person when you say that person's important to you. Another thing is when you're at work, right? When you're at work, the average American spends 50% of the time that they're at work actually working. That blows my mind. They're getting paid for 50% more of what you're actually doing. And I know that I'm guilty of that, even as a coach, that I can sit in front of my computer for 3 hours. And I could tell you an hour and a half of that. YouTube viewing history does not lie. I will say that. And sometimes I can rabbit trail and get off where I'm not supposed to. And I can attest to that. I know there are so many days where I'm I have this big 3-hour chunk of time to work, and an hour and a half goes by, and maybe I sent out 3 messages because I was doing too many things at once. So just getting more, being aware of those kind of things. That's what the average person does at work. So you've got to figure out what you're doing that's hurting you. You're going to stop what's hurting you and stop doing those things that are getting in the way of your goal and not getting you to your goal. There's a silly saying, somebody went to the doctor and says, when I do this to my leg, it hurts. And the doctor's response is, well, if it hurts, don't do it. Right? How often, for me, that's so tangible in my life because I have an autoimmune disorder. So when I eat gluten, I feel like garbage within hours. I have an immediate effect. I know it's going to happen. And sometimes I choose to eat that donut anyway. Same thing with migraines. I get migraines a lot of time when I overdose on sugar, and I know it. And so when I go and I eat too much sugar, I get that riled up, and I'm going to get a migraine. I know it. And I'm doing something that's knowingly hurting myself, which is stupid, which we're going to get to as well. So you've got to just figure out what those things are and stop doing the things that are hurting you. So now we're going to figure out a little bit what those things look like. So I guess a couple more stats for you. I don't think my slides are in order, so I apologize if I'm a little off here. But so human beings are the only species on the planet who knowingly choose to know less, do less, and have less than they could. That blows my mind. Like, there's not like plants. Plants grow until they die. They don't ever stop growing. Like, as Americans especially, we get so complacent when we're comfortable with our life, or we say that we want more, but we'd really rather watch TV or relax or do nothing. And so, like, we're the only species that God created that literally is capable and knowingly chooses to not be the best that we can be. So we've got to fight that. Like, that's our natural tendency, and we have to fight that. So how many of you, and I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand here, but how many of you are 100% satisfied with every area of your life, right? You love how you look and how you weigh. You love how much money that you have in the bank right now. You're really content and happy with your relationship with your spouse and your relationship with your parents and with your kids. You're 100% satisfied with everything in your life, right? I know I won't raise my hand to that. And I'm going to assume that nobody else would admit to being 100% happy with your life. If you've got a secret, please share it with us. But nobody wants to say that 100% satisfied. But I have to call myself out on that we're lying, because if my life is what I've created it to be, if I didn't like my life, then I wouldn't have this life. If I really wasn't comfortable, if I really was uncomfortable with the life that I currently live, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. If I really, really wanted to be an elite coach right now, I would be, but I choose to wash dishes or paint furniture or watch TV or, take the dog for a walk. I choose other things in my life that are more important to me than that, right? So you've got to own that where you're at is your fault, and you're satisfied with it if that's where you're at right now. So your life is the way it is because that's the way that you've chosen it to be. And you've got to accept, I can't even read these slides, and you're willing to accept it that way. If you're finally fed up with where you're at, then it's time to take responsibility. Open yourself up to new ideas and being willing to take action on those things. So here's our questions that we're going to walk through. So how do we sabotage ourselves? The first way that we sabotage ourselves is that we're ignorant. We don't know what it takes to be successful in our business. We don't know what it takes to be a successful coach. We don't know what it takes to be a great wife or a really good parent or to build wealth. We don't know how to manage an investment portfolio. We don't know those things. We're ignorant of those things, right? We're born that way, right? We don't know anything when we're a baby. Everything that we have learned, we've taught ourselves, or someone else has taught us. And there are some things it's okay to be ignorant in, right? I don't know how to play golf. That's not really one of the things. It's not something that needs to be in my life, right? I don't really care about golf. Etiquette, right? Maybe if I got invited to some fancy dinner somewhere, I would probably be embarrassed because I wouldn't know which fork to use and which spoon to use. But really, that's not going to help me move forward in my life, right? So you've got to figure out where you're ignorant at. Do you know how to be successful? Do you know how to be healthy, right? As a coach, you have all of the tools that you need to be healthy. Are you ignorant in how to manage your finances or your health or your relationships, right? Do you not know how to communicate, right? That's been the number one thing for me in my marriage. I've learned that I was not a good communicator. I didn't know that about myself until I was married and forced to communicate and realized that it was an issue for me. And so that's something that I've had to put time, energy, personal development into to learn how to communicate and to express my feelings and to be open and honest in a relationship like that. So are there things in your life, this is a list, a couple things I want you to write down. Are there things in your life right now that you're ignorant of? What areas of your life do you need more information on? Okay, so this, if you are a new coach, as an example, I'm just going to give a business example here, but this can apply to every area of your life. If you're a new coach here, something that you might be ignorant in is how to take a good photo, right? An eye-catching image for your Facebook, right? You've been taking the same selfie from the same angle all the time. You're taking pictures of your food that are not attractive. You're showing your mud green shake every day, your photos are not attractive, right? And you need to learn how to take photos. You can't use that excuse that my coach Brandy is a photographer, and of course her photos are going to look fantastic. She works hard to make her photos look fantastic. And she went to just college to learn that, right? So the least I can do is go to YouTube and figure out how to take better photos, or ask Brandy, right? I ask her constantly questions about lighting, all sorts of stuff, and I hope she doesn't hate me for the lighting in this room right now. I want that. I'm picturing this diva light right now, right? It's going to be great. I'm envisioning it for my future. So if you're a new coach, so you need to learn how to take photos. That might be something you're ignorant in, or how to use editing apps, right? To use filters and add text to your photos to make them better, right? If you're ignorant in how to run a challenge group, you need to find out how to do that. If you're ignorant in how to, when it comes to your finances, if you don't know how to make a budget, you need to learn how to make a budget, right? You're not going to be successful. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you don't know how to manage it, you're never going to be wealthy. So you've got to figure out what that means to manage your finances, if that's where it is, or if there's an area of your health that you're ignorant in, right? I all day long, because I have an autoimmunity and I talk about it on Facebook, people message me constantly that have thyroid problems or autoimmune problems, and they don't know what to do because they've never done any research. And so for me, they're ignorant in their own health. And so they need to focus on that and learn about that. So you need to figure out first where you're ignorant in right now. And what areas of your life do you need more information in? So this should be a list, right? Write that title down if you need to. And then you can go back to it as we go. I don't know who wrote on my screen, but thank you. Number 2, the second way that we sabotage ourselves is that we're stupid. Okay. And bear with me, but this is a category that I fall in way too often. When we get the information, right? We know we're ignorant. So we get the information to be successful, and then we don't use it. That's stupid. There's no other way to describe that, right? When I know to move my business forward, I need to send out 3 to 5 invitations a day to be successful in this business, and I don't do it, that's me being stupid. I'm choosing that because I know what I need to do to be successful, and I'm not applying that. So we got to get past that. And the beautiful thing here when it comes to that is that we have some information on every area of your life, right? You have some information on how to be a good wife. Right now a couple things that you could be doing to be a better wife or a better spouse. A few things that you could be doing to take better care of your finances, right? I went to Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. I've learned so much about budgeting, and I am not living on a budget right now. I'm being stupid when it comes to my finances. I have to be real with myself. I've got to own it. You've got to own it, right? You may not know it all, right? When it comes to finances, I don't know. Brian handles some of our investments. I don't know where the money is. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know how it's growing. I don't understand any of that. And I want to learn that. It's not something I want to be ignorant in, but I don't have to know that to make a budget and to start living on that. So you have enough information on all of the areas of your life right now, I guarantee it, to take some action. You know what those first couple steps are. You know what you could be doing to be more intentional as a spouse. You know what you could be doing to give your kids more attention, to be a better parent. You know what you need to be doing to be a better coach to your current challengers and to your team. And if you're not doing it, you're being stupid. And I'm calling you out on it, and I'm calling myself out on it, and we've got to get past that. So your second list is what are the areas in your life that you have the information in, but that you're not doing anything with it? All right, and this list was my longest list. I'll be honest with you when I went through these. So make that down. You can be writing as we go here, but I encourage you to make these lists. So the third way, we're going through 4 ways, by the way, of how we sabotage ourselves. So the third way that we sabotage ourselves is that we're lazy. Again, this is one that I'm really guilty of. Things like, oh my gosh, just that we know we have the information, we know what we need to be doing, but we choose to do something else. Something else is more important to us, right? We choose to watch a Monday Night Football game. We choose to watch the 4th rerun of the Seinfeld episode that you can repeat back to this screen, right? The Friends episodes or the Seinfeld episodes that you've watched a million times that you know by heart, right? That you can recite. You're watching it again. What is that doing for you? You're choosing something that's easy. You're watching somebody lose weight on The Biggest Loser instead of getting your workout in, because it's easier to watch somebody else do something with their life than do something with yours. You're watching you're watching other coaches in our business, whether on our team or other coaches that you follow on Facebook. You're watching them be successful instead of being successful yourself. You're watching Brandy post all these events that she's hosting. You're watching all of this stuff that our team's doing, and you're not participating because it's easier to watch other coaches be successful than for you to put in the work to do it yourself. Right? You're being lazy. It's not, and I say this, please don't hate me, but a lot of times, like we say, we don't have time, right? We're too busy. But it's not a matter of time or time management. It's just that we get caught up doing stuff that's not important. We get caught up doing the little things. For me, it's, cleaning my house an extra round when it could go a couple more days. I don't need to spend my time doing that. Or it's watching TV, right? When I know I should be doing something else. It's taking a nap when I should be doing something else. And the average person watches 6 hours of TV a day, which blows my mind. And then on top of that, another hour and a half of wasted time on the internet daily. And I can totally attest to at least an hour and a half a day of my time on my internet. I already admitted that to you, is not spent on business building activities or something that is improving. Doesn't have to be business, but even for my family, like it's not something that's improving my family life or anything. Just me getting lost on YouTube or on Facebook scrolling or something like that. So we're too busy doing the things that aren't moving the needle forward to our success because they're not important enough to us. And that's going to be the next one. But we're choosing the easier things over the hard ones. And what you've got to decide right now, this is your next list, is which areas of your life are you being lazy in? And then you have to stop, right? You can't be lazy. Don't be lazy. You're being, where are you being a spectator in your life, and where have you let things slide? For me, I am totally guilty. Since we've come off of this cleanse, I stopped taking my medication because I wanted to give it a shot to see if I could go without it, because I've been on it for a year and a half now. And my medication for my thyroid is what I'm talking about. And so now I've been off of it for 2 solid months, and my symptoms are coming back. So I'm learning, I need to get back on it. I have appointments to do that next week. But with that comes back my exhaustion. So I'm sleeping more. I want a nap. I'm accidentally falling asleep when I shouldn't. And so I'm allowing those things to creep in because I'm not taking care. I'm being lazy and I didn't get my test results done. I didn't go to the doctor and get more medication again. I'm not choosing to do the things that I know are going to help me. Like I know what happens when I don't live on my meal plan. I know how it affects my body physically immediately. And so when I'm choosing laziness over just not finding a doctor, I moved across the country, so I haven't found a doctor yet, but I haven't even tried. I've spent lots of time watching makeup tutorials on YouTube, but I haven't spent the time to find a doctor in my area. So that's me being lazy, and I'm stopping that. I have an appointment on Saturday morning and I'm going to. So I've made the decision to stop being lazy, and I need you guys to do that too if you're going to be successful and if you're going to overcome how you're getting in your own way. So our number 4 way that we're sabotage ourselves is that we just don't care. As this, I almost cried when I heard this one. You don't care enough to do whatever it takes to hit that goal that you've set. We say that we care about our kids, but we don't do the things that we should to show that we care, right? We say that our spouse is our number 1 priority above our business, but I'll be honest, I spend more time with you guys on my computer working than I do with Ryan. I can openly say that. I don't want that. I don't like that. But if I'm honest, so I say that he is my top priority, but he's not. If I'm being real with you, your time and your energy and your money go to what's really important to you. So if all your time, like I just said, is spent on the job, then that's what's most important to you. If you spend all of your time watching TV when you're not at work, that's what's important to you, right? You said this ridiculous, it pissed me off that he even said this, but if you choose to watch television instead of reading a book to get better at your job or to upgrade your resume or to, in our case, send 3 invites, if you watch TV instead, you don't care about providing for your family. That pissed me off because my goal in this business is to get Ryan home. I don't want him to work outside of the home. I want him to be home with me. But for me, when I'm choosing to watch TV, I'm choosing not to care that he has to go back to work on Monday morning. I'm choosing that. And it made me angry. And I hope it makes you angry too, because that's how you're going to get forward. That's how you're going to move forward to hit those goals that you've got for yourself. So this hurts. I know it does. The truth is not, it's ugly. It's not easy to hear. It wasn't easy for me to hear. Listening to this, I've listened to this book now. It's an audiobook that I bought, and I've listened to it now 3 times all the way through. The first time it made me cry, like several times. I literally broke down in tears because I was like, this is what I've been trying. Like, this is why I've been stuck, why I let myself go so well in my business. And then I sabotage things because I get lazy and I choose not to care. And I, become stupid because I know what I should be doing and I'm not doing it. And so it's been a really emotional journey for me. So I hope in this moment, sharing this with you guys, that you don't hate me, that you can see that the truth that I'm trying to share with you and how it's affecting me and my life, and how I just wanted to share this with you guys tonight. So what you've got to do now is to make your next list, is to make a list of what's really important to you. Right? What are your priorities? As a Beachbody coach, one of the first things we teach you is like, what are your 5 things, right, that you're going to be posting about? What are the things that matter to you? Right? Maybe that's part of this list, right? Those 5 things that define you. But then you need to make a second list of what the evidence proves that you really care about. Okay, and this one is hard. This is going to be your bank statement or your credit card statement, because where you spend your money, that's what matters to you. Okay, you're going to, like, I wouldn't tell you that the way my home looks is really that important to me, but that's a lie. I spend money on rugs and lamps and what did I buy? I bought more like stuff for my kitchen this week. I bought bookshelves. I bought paint. Like I'm spending money on things like that I didn't, in my head. I love a pretty home, but I didn't really think that I spent money on it. And I totally do. And I love to spend my time creating things and making things beautiful. I love to look at a room and figure out how to make it the prettiest I can. And so for me, that's something I had to realize is a priority for me. It's something that I really do care about. So you've got to do that. So you've got to figure out where your money's going, because that's the evidence on what you really care about, as well as the time. Where do you spend your time? Right? I just told you, I spend the most of my day it's probably tied between Arrington and the business. And then there's Ryan after that. And that's completely flip-flopped. Like the whole way since I've started this business, I started it for Arrington, and then my wife switched to actually Ryan and bringing him home. And where is my faith in any of that? Like I say that God is my first priority, and I didn't even just say him in any of those things, right? So you've got to be real with yourself and compare that list of what you say is important to you and what the evidence shows, and where it doesn't match up, that's where you need to take action. That's where you need to start making the adjustments. If you don't, like for me, I didn't realize that my house, the way it looks, mattered to me. But when I spend the time and energy and I take a look at this, I realize, okay, it does mean a lot to me. Oh, sorry guys, that's my daughter. So yeah, so that's that. So that's your 4th list. And then this is my last slide, and I'm done. And I want to open it up because I want to hear some of the stuff you guys have written down. And if you guys don't hate me and want to kick me off the team for calling everybody out. So I shared all of this with you tonight because I want you to be successful in your life, right? I'm not here because I'm a leader on this team and I benefit from you, from your coaches, that your Success Club points. Like, I don't care about that right now. I'm talking to you. I'm sharing this information with you guys because it's helping me to be successful in my life, in my personal life, and in my business. And I want that for you. I want you to have a healthy financial situation, right? I want you to hit your goals. I want you to have the best marriage or relationship. I want you to have the best confidence. I want you to have everything that you need to be successful in life. I want you to have it. And I know that this sabotaging ourselves can get in the way of all of it. So I want you to take a look at these lists that you've created tonight and really take a serious look at where you're at and what you need to take ownership of and what you're going to do about it, right? Where are you ignorant that you need to learn about? What information do you already have that you need to take action on? How do you need to readjust your priorities and your spending and the way you're spending your time to honor your real priorities? And I want you to back up your priorities that you said, the things that are really important to you. I want you to back those up with your actions, with your thoughts, with your words, with your money, with your time, with your energy, all of it. I want all of it focused towards your priorities, because when that is in alignment, that's when you will achieve your goals, because your goals will match up to those priorities, right? So, and the way that you'll get there, like choosing the hard thing over the easy thing, choosing to, get your own workout in over watching Biggest Loser, is you need to have vision. If you don't have a vision, that's why I've done another call for us. It's on, I'm sure it's in the Back Tribe, on how to create your own personal vision. It's why we talk about dream boards, vision boards, goal boards. It's why we set these things, because you have to have a vision of where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, then you have accepted life as the way it is right now, and you're not going to get anywhere else. Like you've accepted that this is your goal, where you're at right now, that how we started this call, you've accepted that you're 100% happy with your health and your weight and your relationships and your bank account. And so if you don't have that vision, you're living your vision now, and you've got to stop complaining about where you're at today and just start working hard to make that vision happen, right? And I want you to have a clear vision, right? I want you to picture where you live, where you're going to, you as the most successful version of yourself, where do you live? Like, what's your house look like? Like, what color is it? How many rooms does it have? How many kids do you have? What kind of car are you driving? What kind of clothes? How do you dress? What city do you live in? How is your relationship with your spouse? How is it with your parents and with your kids? I want you to take the time to figure out what that looks like. For me, I think I've shared this with you guys before. My vision, we have gone to I have been inside my dream home. It's going to cost me like probably $600,000 by the time that it's available to me, and I'm available to buy it. But I found my dream home. I know exactly what it looks like. I know the view it has from the porch. I know what it's like. I know what furniture that I want to go in it. I know how it's going to lay out. I know where I want to go. I know what Tuesday morning is going to feel like. I know I'm going to wake up on Tuesday morning after sleeping in, because I'm going to be very much over this 5 a.m. stuff that I'm doing now to get to me there. I'm going to sleep in, and I'm going to wake up, and my husband is going to make us breakfast. We're going to have breakfast together on a Tuesday morning, and then we can go do whatever we want with our day. And to have him home with me, that's crazy. And so I know I can picture that, and that's how I get through the days that are hard, when I don't want to do my work, when I want to choose the easy way out, when I want to watch TV, or I want to do the things that are not going to move me forward. So vision is going to get you there. Vision is what's going to help you make those hard decisions and to take action on these lists. So I won't go into how to create that. You can Google that. You can YouTube it. You can check back in our team page for past team calls, because I've done a call on personal vision before. I know Brandy's done one, I think, too, on dream boards as well. So we've got that for you. You've got that training ready. You need to have a vision for where you're going. So I do believe that's all I've got. Yes, it is. So I'm going to pause share. Is that right? Stop share. I'm going to stop screen sharing. And we've got a few minutes here. I don't want to keep everybody super late, but I want to know,